Our nuclear fuel rod facility is almost online. However, if something goes wrong, it'll irradiate a huge portion of the map. So we need to prepare for a nuclear emergency. Hello everyone, I'm Kibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where today we're gonna continue work on our nuclear setup so that we can make nuclear fuel rods, switch to nuclear power, and then rule the world. And last time we made another critical step in that direction by making this red box. And that wonderful red box is making us crystal oscillators and beacons, among other things, but also that we can make the nuclear fuel units, aka the nuclear fuel rods, because we already have the encased uranium cells, that's what's below us. We now have the crystal oscillators and the beacons, meaning we have one more job to do, and that's make the electromagnetic control rod. Oh boy, and these guys are very spicy. Spicy indeed. Check out this noise. We have two recipes for them. One recipe, the default, uses stators and AI limiters to make 4 per minute. And the other one uses stators and high-speed connectors to make 10 per minute. But high-speed connectors are literally one of the worst things to craft in the game. So we're not gonna be using that. And we're gonna be using the default recipe with stators and AI limiters. The problem is that each of these recipes only makes 4 or 10 per minute. And we need 105 of these control rods per minute to actually run our whole nuclear setup. So yeah, 105 divided by 4 equals Level-like. But that's just one of the spicy memes we're gonna be getting up to today, because we have another spicy meme that is very important to do as well. And that is test out our nuclear system. Because right now, it's all been sitting idle, and I'm just not certain if everything works. Kinda obviously need to test the whole thing out if we wanna use this area to power our entire world. Yeah, it's important to have a reliable power source. However, if we bring in all the uranium, it irradiates this whole place, we can't use our jetpack, and it could cause catastrophic problems. So we need something like a safety shutoff valve for everything. So in case like we test something out, it doesn't work, then we can do something to fix it all. So quite a big to-do list today, so we better get started. And the first thing we're gonna do is deal with these electromagnetic control rods, because they might not be the biggest issue in the world. So they're big numbers, but not crazy big numbers. And in that little factory we have over there, we're making a ton of steel because we're using steel to make the beacons and the crystal oscillators. And we might just have enough steel to deal with the stators. And good thing I checked because the numbers are real close, brother. But we have 600 steel per minute being produced here. And our factory making the beacons and the oscillators uses 170 of that steel. Meaning we have about 430 left over. And after checking my notes for how much steel we'll end up needing for those stators for the electromagnetic control rods, I will end up needing somewhere in the range of 700 steel. So this isn't gonna work out. We're gonna have to deal with the steel stuff and stators probably back at base. And then we're gonna have to do that with the AI limiters as well. Just don't have any of this stuff out here. And honestly, that's fine because not only will we be training over the control rods, but we have to send over the crystal oscillators as well. We need to bring 30 over per minute. So that's 2 things we'll be shipping. Ooh, 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 and hello there, friend. Dude, what a perfect image. I love this. Ooh, but I really didn't plan for this now that we're here. I don't know if we have enough space in our base for the AI limiters and all this stuff. Because most of the empty space that's inside like the bottom portion of our base is already allocated. Like the bottom floor and that next floor you see there are going to be for oil processing because we have to redo our oil processing setup that's inside our base. This next floor here is for the alclad aluminum sheets. We have to pretty much double what you see before you to get the max amount of sheets per minute. Then the floors above that are mainly for refining. But then from there, we get into the Beast 3. And of course that floor is completely chock full of like 140 manufacturers or something insane. So I guess we could throw a roof on this entire setup, but it looks so dang good I don't want to do that yet. Which leaves us with one option, and that is that we have to go even higher and start on phase 3 of our base. And from here, we'll be leaving the space elevator behind because we're getting far, far higher than that. Oh boy, this is going to be a doozy. Now I suppose the question is, do we have the resources we need back at base? Because we need copper, caterium, and steel. So let's go and find that out really quick. That should be pretty easy because right beneath the beast, we do have a warehousing floor. And I took stock of some stuff. We might just have some extra caterium. In fact, I'm certain we do. We just have to see if it's enough. We need about 90 caterium per minute. So we got a line here. Oh, what do you got past Kibs? Beacon, 390 cat ingots, like actually dude. Why did I like actually dude myself? Why would I leave myself that? Weird, past Kibs, he's a guy. Okay, but we got the caterium. We have all this copper. Oh, these are copper sheets. Sure. Do we have any copper upstairs? A little bit of iron, we don't care. More caterium, pardon me. 480 caterium per minute, brother, that's so good. So we have like 1 trillion caterium. Well, step 1 complete, but we need a lot of copper. We need about 440 copper ingots per minute. I am certain though we have that much. Well, let's find out here. Yeah, they're all over here. And I literally just left 5 480 lines of copper just sitting here willy-nilly. Oh, not only that, there's even more. How much is in here? 120. So what's that? 480 times 5 plus 120? Wow, that's 2,520 copper ingots free to use. Okay, so we're good there. So I'll bring a lot of this back up into the spine here and bring it upstairs, easy peasy. And that just leaves one more thing, the steel. And I know for a fact we don't have any extra coal coming back to base. Oh, but wait a second. Guess what? We already have 1 metric megaton of steel coming in from over here. Our Blue Crater Lake factory. Yes, long ago, many weeks ago, we were over here and we're gathering up all the resources. And pretty much we kind of just left it as a bunch of belts just in the middle there. However, over the course of several live streams, the place is being developed a little bit further, and now it's actually complete. We have everything from this lake being processed into something and then thrown into trains. Even did some decorating as well. So it looks beautiful, and we have tons and tons of stuff. So limestone for days, quartz for days, a good chunk of our copper as well, some classic caterium, but most importantly, our steel. Oh boy, do we have a lot of steel coming out of this place, brother. We have 1 full train car, 2, 3 full train cars full of steel going back to base. And that should be, if my calculations are correct, 960, about 1,200. It's 1,440 steel per minute, all going back to base. Yeah, okay, not bad, not bad. All we have to do is set up another train, hook it up back at base, and we're set. So, it looks like we need a train station name. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. But I will set this train up, we'll have it back at base, and then let's just get to processing, because that's the only other thing we needed. Oh boy, bud. It's gonna be wild. Okay, so end of the day, we know we have everything now, right? So I have gone to the roof, I have opened up the floor, because for this part of the base, this is gonna be our item spine. It's gonna be internal, inside the structure itself. So that's where everything will come up, and we are going to, quote unquote, pretend that I've already done the hours of belt work, and we're gonna have our caterium here, our steel here, and all of our copper here. Okay, cool beans. that means we can get started building immediately. And that is what we're going to do. So we need hundreds of machines, hundreds and hundreds of machines. Specifically, most of them for stators. We're gonna start with the stators though. But we need 32 assemblers for stators, okay. So let's just start the stators over here. We'll have the stators take up like this side of the factory. We'll take up that side of the factory, doing all the quick wire stuff. And then somewhere near the front, we'll have a little area actually making the electromagnetic control rods and the AI limiters, and then we'll bring them back down. So one step at a time here, many, many machines to build, lots of belt work to do. So super quick. Well, we need 32 assemblers for these, so let's put 16 in a row here, see if it all fits out nicely. And that should be 16. Oh yeah, plenty of room, dude, plenty of room. And we'll just have to have this on the other side. Give ourselves ample space in between. We have lots of space this high up. So that'll go all the way down that way now. Cool. And all of these will be making the stators. We're gonna use the normal stator recipe because this one uses quick wire and we're super not doing that. So this one, it's inefficient, but I don't care. Then we need the steel pipes. We need a total of, 480 steel pipes. But with that, we're gonna need another 24 constructors for the steel pipe. So we could just have that over here. And then from here, we just go out this way until we build 12. We'll mirror it on the other side, and that'll be that. That's looking like a 13. Am I guessing right? Nope, perfectly 12. Dang it, why am I so excellent at everything? That's fine. We'll have then the next mirrored side over this way. We're gonna have to do some belt load balancing and like splitting and reverse overflow type stuff just to make things a little efficient, but not super crazy. And yeah, so that will go that way. That's gonna be fine. Then we need what's the other thing we need? Brain, wire. I don't need to look. I had to look. It is wire. And for wire then, how much wire do we need? Well, what's 32 times 40? A big number times 40. Well, for wire, that's actually not too big, 1,280. Dude? Well, it actually still kind of is a big number because we need 42 constructors to build that. So a little bit of a handful here. Let's change of plans. We're gonna double this up. There's going to be the 42 over here now. Yep, and that system's gonna be wild. And then we still have a ton of room back here. So then the 24 assemblers that we're going to use for steel pipes will just be back here now. This, generally speaking, should be okay. And then again, we'll just mirror it on the other side. Righto, considering all the mergers and such, we'll then have this large space in between here. And this is where we'll just bring everything together. So all of the steel pipes will come into here. All of the wire will come into here. We'll bring it through here. Maybe do some load balancing if necessary, and shove it into all of the assemblers. Yeah? Yeah. It'll be a bit of belt work, and by a bit I mean an absolute metric poop ton, but it'll work out. It's just gonna be one heck of a boop, brother. Oh yeah, brother, that was one heck of a boop. But everything kinda worked out exactly as planned. Everything's in position. The spacing worked out, and now all of the stators will end up right down on this line here. And yeah, we just use the usual tricks of the trade, like reverse overflow, where half the items overflow from one side, then half of them overflow from the other. And wherever else we could, we tried to split up the belt so that everything kind of distributed a little bit more evenly. At the end of the day though, we're actually pretty lucky with this project because efficiency isn't super important. Because our bottleneck with everything is going to be the trains. And that's because we have to wait for the trains to bring stuff from our base over to the nuclear area. So everything will back up in the train system, we'll scoot over to the nuclear area, and it will build up very quickly. So even if the system was a little slow, because of the train buffer, everything should work out fine. Oh, and by the way, that boop that we just did was actually a lot bigger than usual, because we got all the rest of the setup done as well on the other side of the factory. Again, it's all the same tricks of the trade, So I quickly ran through it. And we just had to make 24 constructors for the copper sheets because I didn't want to have to use the refining method because it's a pain in the butt. And then we made 12 assemblers, yep, for the quick wire. And with the copper sheets and the quick wire, it all goes into another 10 assemblers that are gonna make our AI limiters. And finally, everything comes together in this last group of 24 assemblers, making all of our electronic control rods. And everything ends up right there. And so that means this system is all set up and ready to go. All that has to be done is the materials need to be belted up here from the train station. Unfortunately, I don't really have the time to do that today. So we'll consider this done, and I'll show it working when we get to making the nuclear fuel rods. But right now, I really want to get back to our nuclear factory so we can go and set up that nuclear flush system. Oh, but wait. I saw something super cool on Reddit I have to show you guys. So I just have the area actions here, right? Gonna enable flying for a second, and we're gonna play a little bit of golf. Because it turns out there's some funky stuff going on in the game when it comes to train stations. So we'll set up our little golf balls here. We'll pull up a train station. And I don't know what the heck's going on, but something in this is solid. And you can manipulate the world with it. So boop. Bye-bye, little tractor. And then we can go even further with it. Boop. Hey, you're supposed to go big boop. Boop. More boop. Nope. We go again. Boop. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Sorry. Kinda worked. But you see what I mean? We can boop everything, and it goes off flying. And then suddenly, after that, it gets stuck in the sky. And that's just because it goes out of our render distance. Anyway, let's go and see if a truck will be better here. So, boop. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I want like a crazy boop though, like out. Yeah, there we go. Third one's the charm, right? Super boop. Super boop. No, we trapped it in the ground. Ah, you see, fourth time's the real third try. Yep. Okay, we tried. Ooh, wait a second though. Cyberwagon. Clearly the most aerodynamic. Must make for the best golf ball. Confirmed, yes? Let's go. Well, that's going literally backwards. Sure. You, go forwards. It decided to be a helicopter, gotcha. And this last one has to be the true golf ball. Boop. Come on, boop. Now I keep going off to the side. I guess I have to practice my golf swing, just a little bit. So, time to plan for our inevitable nuclear emergency here. And it's going to be complicated. It's gonna be big spaghetti, for sure. Oh man, because down here we already have all these pipes going everywhere, and now we need to add in just a ton of belts in order to get the nuclear material out of here. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's think of our objectives. To deem this place safe, we need essentially 0 nuclear material around here, so we can fly around and fix things with our jetpack. Because if the place is super irradiated, we can't just fly around here. We'd have to be wearing our radiation suit, and that would be bad. The filters for the radiation suit, super expensive. And we'd be moving very slow, so we couldn't fix issues or see them very easily either. And also a key objective is we have to be able to turn on this nuclear flush valve from very far away. We could not get close to this if we wanted to, if it's fully like stacked up with uranium and case cells and all that kind of jazz. Like, we'd be at this distance and we'd die in like 3 seconds. It would be awful. So we need to find a different place to activate this from. I'm kind of thinking just somewhere way far away, like the other train station over there. So we have a train station that's relatively close by, and over there we can have this emergency switch which connects the power and activates what we're about to build. So that way we go to this train station, plug in the power, it starts clearing this factory, and we're all good. So with that all figured out, let's get to building. So number one, cool thing if you didn't know, but you can actually put nuclear material into the awesome sink. I know, it seems weird, but you can do that. So all the uranium, all of the whatever radioactive stuff we're making, can all go into an awesome sink. So pretty much we have to lead everything to one. And we don't really have a ton of space around here, except for about here. So this will probably be the place. In fact, it is gonna be the place. So let's put down a couple here. We'll have one awesome sink per floor. We'd prefer to have this problem solved very quickly. Like, nuclear power is gonna be holding up our entire world's power grid. So if there's an issue, we gotta fix it quick. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And first up here, this is where all the raw uranium is gonna come in. So it's gonna come in here and go to all the refineries over there. So obviously, gotta be able to flush all of this stuff first. So I guess we'll just do that with splitters. Oh, hold up. No, we could do one better here than just splitters. We can have smart splitters. Yeah, that's a way better idea. Because a little while ago, they added in an overflow function. So, out the center here will be the overflow. Cool. And out the left, that is going to be uranium. Aha. Since we've set this to overflow now, the priority will be to go into the resource sink, i.e. get out of the system. Because if stuff is shutting down, we want it out of the system as soon as possible, instead of going back into all of these refineries. So that'll work out pretty well. Then I just have to organize all of these boys in a pretty decent way so that everything fits in here nicely. Okay, and we fared pretty well here. So now each of the programmable splitters sends the uranium to its own awesome sink. We are all good. And I've realized now we're gonna have to have a set of awesome sinks per floor. Like, I can't emphasize this enough, but the speed of this system is key. So this is super important. As for the rest of the floor now, we're gonna try and organize everything so that that stuff goes into these resource sinks too. I set things up with mergers here, so maybe we can bring everything behind, or yeah, maybe just like behind here and into these machines. Oh my gosh, yep, I left the perfect amount of space to do this. I am so smart sometimes. Good job, Kibs. Okay, so that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. So now we have to get everything into these 3 belts that are over here. Well, how this system works is we have, what is it, 6 systems making the uranium pellets. I think with the uranium pellets, we're gonna forget about them, let them go to the next floor and do some kind of like cutoff up there. And then for the uranium, each of the systems is just an overflow. So the uranium enters from over here, splits up, and goes through these overflow systems. So if we just add in an extra splitter kind of around here for each part, like this would go here, this would go into there, and you would go over to here. Then this part can go off this way, and that's what we're doing. Yep, it goes right over into the flushing station. Good. We'll put a bunch of mergers around too. That way we can grab stuff from the other set of 6 that's on the other side, and dude, you better believe this is working out. Okay, and after looking through all the systems too, there's definitely gonna be enough space for this. Yep, and this is how we go about it then. Should we do the overflow thing too? Oh, and what about the irradiation that's gonna end up right over here? Oh, there is a small problem. Uh-oh. So if we have this splitter right near the end, there's gonna end up being a tiny bit of uranium right on this belt here. I don't think there's a way we can avoid that. Oh, and then all of the, yeah, there's gonna be traces of uranium still left inside the machines too. Like say we're processing stuff, right? And there's just 43 uranium here, and we have the acid. It won't process into the pellets, so it will be stuck in the machine. Okay, and there's no way to get the uranium out without simply deleting the machine or taking it out manually. Okay, so that's a huge thing. There's two options to that. Number one is I can make walkways. So when I have like a radiation suit on, we could like pluck the radioactive stuff out, or we can just live with it and bring inhalers and fly around with our jetpack. Both options are not good. There's no way around this either. That's a tough one. Well, it's an issue. I'm gonna think about it. First up, I'm gonna hook up all these belts to flush things, like the majority of the nuclear material, and then we'll think about that. Well, all the extra belt work is done now, and I was given the issue some thought, and I think we will do a test with just limited amounts of like nuclear material and see what happens. I don't want to do like a full system run and then find out that I'm screwed, or find out that the trace amounts of nuclear material in machines is like pretty much irrelevant. Because yeah, if it is significant, then we're gonna have to put in like balconies, again, like a bin that dumps stuff, and it'll be like a whole shebang, or it might not even be a big problem and we don't need to worry about it. So yeah, we'll be doing a test there. And also, like I was saying, all the belt work is done, just like we did with this first system. So everything merges together, enters into the sinks, and off to the races it goes. Also, I did the exact same thing upstairs now. Turned on all the machines to make sure I knew where things were going. And all of these manufacturers are loaded and ready, except for the nuclear stuff. And the nuclear stuff, I found out, will be on this top row. So for each of the manufacturing systems, there is now a smart splitter at the very end, which, you guessed it, has an overflow setting. So all the overflow ends up on this last line, and it goes to a sink. There's also a couple more lines down here that you can see, where all of the produced stuff, so the infused uranium cells, will also end up on this line and going to the sinks too, and the pellets from down here will end up going through this line too. So this is like the emergency line pretty much. And it all is controlled back here, where we have smart splitters sending stuff to where they need to be. So up this line is where all of the, just the pellets come up. Pellets will come up. Again, there's no settings here. So we'll have the main overflow go through the right. So once this left line is filled up, overflow goes through and out to the awesome sinks. Yep, forgot the name for a second there. And then same dealio with the cells like I mentioned, just into here. So out the right, that's where the overflow will go, and nothing out the center, of course. And yeah, so this is the right? So yeah, right to that line, left will go up to the nuclear fuel rod floor, which will be up there. Okay, so everything should work out, everything should be safe, and then last thing is just the power. So with all the power, this needs to be on a completely separate grid, so I've done that, so that now, way over here, at this other train station, we have our emergency nuclear flush power thing here. So whenever we need to flush the whole system, connect this power pole to that one, and we're done. We got a beacon here that says nuclear shutoff switch, very prominent, and I even painted the platforms for this, just so I don't forget. And with the shutoff switch and everything all done, this nuclear plant is as safe as it can be. Unless you guys have any other ideas, let me know in the comments below. But let's do our little test with the uranium right now. Righto. Already radioactive. Good thing I brought my super suit so we can actually approach. This is what I mean though. We don't have the jetpack, so a lot of my stuff is going to be inaccessible. Okie dokie though. Let's just grab a bunch. And I would suppose, where do we go? We have to go somewhere kind of far away to test this out. Well, let's just go over here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of it on the ground and a little bit right beside. And now we can suppose that if a building has radioactive material in it, the radioactive signature, like the circle of radioactivity, is at the center of that building. So like with a refinery, we can be pretty far away from the center of it, but still access it, right? That's what I'm kind of banking on. So that should be okay. So I would suppose that this railway is about that distance, like say we had our refinery there, right? Yeah. You can kind of imagine that we'd be able to access it from this location. Now our big test here is seeing if we have the exosuit on, how much damage do we take getting pretty close? Okay, it's looking pretty minimal. Like it's something we'd have to watch, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah, this is kind of like the worst of the worst kind of problem we'd end up dealing with. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. I think this system should work. And now that we can safely clear the factory of nuclear material, and with our electromagnetic control rod processing pretty much ready to go, all that's left to do is start making the nuclear fuel rods, test out the system, and then we can start making our hundreds of nuclear power plants and have our power situation dealt with forever. However though, that is gonna be all for today, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and again if you did, please remember to leave a like. But for now, have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.